Narcissists gravitate towards successful people because they're lacking in so many areas. They gravitate towards those people which are abundant in those areas where they are lacking. And they do so because it makes them feel complete. It gives them that feeling of associating with something great, so they feel great by extension. And if you're dealing with a healthy relationship, that's a good thing. Because, people complement each other. You might have strengths and weaknesses. Somebody else has strengths and weaknesses. You have different strengths and different weaknesses to each other, but together you make a good team. That's a great thing. But in a narcissistic relationship, it's a bad thing. Because just by being a part of your life, just by the narcissist being a part of your life, they'll be partaking in your successes, experiencing your qualities. Soon that's not enough for them. Maybe it was enough at first. Those good things about you would have pleased them. But very soon, it no longer is good. Because they reach that point where they feel they need to possess those things that you have. Your things can be physical things. And also your qualities, your personality features, your accomplishments. They soon reach that point where they feel that they need to possess your qualities, your accomplishment, your things, to a greater extent than you do. And they get that feeling because they're naturally competitive people, but not in a healthy way. Their competitive nature comes to the forefront, where they feel they must be better than you on all fronts. And that trait of theirs gets the better of them every time. So now they're stuck in competition with you. What drew them in to your orbit, those same positive things, now cause them to feel competitive against you. And they can't just simply let that go. Because when they get that competitive edge, now they must win. They must always win. So there you have it. They've worked their way into your life, pretending to have your best interests at heart, like they're your friend, your confidant, somebody you can trust. And you start to trust them. Because of that competitiveness and that desire to win, to be better than you, because of all those things that drive their behaviors, they slowly start to sabotage everything great going on for you. If you're heading in great directions in life in one or two areas, they'll kill your positive momentum. If you're feeling that fire just to go out and do something, that passion, they'll extinguish your fire. And to be able to achieve that, all they really need is that special key, metaphorically speaking, which would have given them access to all these things about yourself. And of course, you would have handed this key over to them. Probably wouldn't have even known that you did that. You let them in without knowing. And once they're in a position to start sabotaging things, that's where you start to lose. One thing at a time. The things you relate to, the things you identify with, the things that make you you, it soon becomes lost. Until you no longer recognize yourself. And then the narcissist starts to feel great because they're winning. They've won. They win when you lose. That's how it is. So they must make you lose so they can win. And then, of course, you have nothing left to offer. So they go. They're gone. And your loss feels even bigger with their absence. So that's a very predictable dynamic. But although that might sound like the end of the story, it doesn't end there. It's not the end of it. There's more. There's always more after the narcissist has had their way with somebody. Let's take you, for example. After you've been through that cycle, you start to slowly bounce back. You start to pick your pieces back up. As you release the trauma bond or any negative feelings about the narcissist, let's say your fire starts to ignite again. You start having new passions. You find yourself having the wherewithal to go out and just live your life again. You're productive, your light shining again. You have this positive momentum that starts to carry you again because you've somehow managed to just let the narcissist go from your thoughts. Maybe it would have taken some time, but you get there eventually. When you start going in that positive direction again, when you start feeling good about yourself, that's where the narcissist returns. They return because now they don't feel like they're winning anymore with you. Of course, they'll have other people in their life they're focusing on, but they would have kept one eye on you, hoping that you would forever feel devastated. And now that you're not devastated, they feel like they're losing, and they can't have that. And of course, they try to make a comeback at this point. They can be very convincing. A lot of love bombing to work their way in. But this is where you're really put to the test, because you would need to have erected new and strong boundaries. Because when they come back in, that's where you need to make sure you can keep them out. So your boundaries will be put to the test, and if you can keep them out, then you know you've recovered and you've become stronger. Because your present and your future depend on those boundaries working.